Hello everyone, and welcome to the so manyth episode of Tryggby already. Now, as you can see, we have been making some progress. The town has really started growing, there's houses everywhere, there's a big temple, there's a marketplace. So, let's continue and build some pretty buildings. You can immediately see me start off with a stone base and a wooden top floor on it. On this little cluster of houses here in the corner next to the lighthouse. And this little cluster of houses is gonna be like the old core. It's gonna be some of the oldest buildings still left in the city, and that's why they're a little bit smaller. Because the city just wasn't that big before, and times were different back then. Also, it's gonna be made out of stone, because I want this place to be, well, a bit more of a military place. Like, this was an old compound built by a very rich family in the city, and this was built here on the coast next to the old pier to protect the trade of Tryggby. That's why it's also connected to the lighthouse. So this is going to be a little court, like a courtyard inside, with some houses around that all are connected to the central courtyard with only 2 gates in and out. And I'll explain that later on. But yeah, you can see me here working with some stone and some awkward angles and kind of struggling to figure out the details here, because they're quite small, these buildings. So yeah, it's difficult to fit in all these details. We're also going to make a very awkward camera angle here, because, well, it's just very difficult to film. Right here is the arch, one of the arches that goes in. And the thing I love about these arches is that I love them in real life. When you're in an old city in real life, and there's just an archway or some kind of port or gate that leads through to another place you can explore, it feels like stepping through a door and coming out into a new world and something new to explore. So behind this archway is going to be the old courtyard inside these buildings here, which is less military now, and it's more turned into a garden, because of course we have the massive castle up on the hill. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty, and you're gonna be able to walk in there and look around you and see pretty houses made of stone and pretty flowers on the floor. So these buildings here, this one, it's a bit awkward. I'm not really happy with the roof, I must say. It looks a bit round, like a parabola. And that's a shape I don't really want in my Minecraft roofs, and that's because of the angle, and because it's an even amount of blocks, and that's why it ends in 2 stairs instead of a central block that I can make as pointy as I want. So I think I actually went back and changed it later on. It's not inside the video, but I did change it, I think. Now, coming around, you can see the layout of the other buildings here. We're going to be going with that one other archway you can see on the left there, right next to the pier, and a wall that connects the rightmost building on the corner up to the lighthouse, which I thought was pretty cool to just have a wall, because it's a wall, not necessarily a building. It's a nice detail that you might be able to recognize when you walk around the city. So you can see me here carving out the courtyard and making it a bit more smooth and equal leveled, so you can actually, walk there and live in it. And painting in the path, building the door, which you're not going to be really able to see. And I've built the overhang as well, or like the top bit that goes over the walkway. I just really like the idea of people living above walkways. I don't think I would want to live there myself because of all the noise and people and stuff having to walk underneath my house, but I just think it looks really cool. Some more details. Not really happy with that window again, because it's an even amount of blocks in width there. I really should have changed that beforehand. Now on to the other building, which is going to be the biggest one, and this one is going to look the most fortified as well, out of all of them. because it's the biggest one and it's right next to the water, right? So if there is an enemy boat, then, well, it has to be able to survive some fire arrows, for example, you know? It shouldn't be able to get set on fire that easily. So, as you can probably see, I was inspired by Western European houses like in the Netherlands and Eastern Germany along the Hanse rivers. Buildings with flat facades and the roofs tucked behind the facades, which is maybe a kind of a style that fits a tiny bit later than, like, later in history than this is supposed to be set, but hey, it's a Minecraft build. I don't really care, my ships have cannons and I have castles lying around, so I think this is fine, this little historical problem, but I just really like the look. I think it looks like a trading house, right? But it also looks a bit like a castle. As you can see, I really tried to make it look like a castle as well, because it is supposed to defend against the sea and sea-bound invaders, so that's why it's all stone. And I just made it round because the round shape is more interesting. The flat face just looked really boring to me, even though I know a square tower is probably better for what this whole vibe is going to be around here. But yeah, you can see here the stone facades, like it's gonna be four facades basically, one on the left, and the pointy one with the big window, the flat one and the big house basically, with the walkway in the middle, which is going to join up to that road you can see there in the bottom of the screen. And I think that's going to look amazing when the other houses are in place. Now adding in some windows, because you know you need some light in there and some place to shoot down from. Now you can see that the windows there are filled with iron bar, because that makes it feel a bit more militaristic, and you can actually shoot through it, you know, instead of through glass, which is kind of impossible. But I think I'll be switching that out later, because of course this isn't really defensive anymore, so I think by now people would have chosen for some warmth inside instead of more defensibility. Also added a flag on top of the black and red Tryggby colours, which I still really like, and I decided to add some colour with the granite. Went a bit overboard, but quickly realised that, nah, let's get rid of that and let's just keep it to the little bits next to the window. I think that's enough colour for this build. So coming to the other side, you can, well, see the detail on the back of both of the buildings, and I'm filling up the windows there because we're going to be building against them, and I filled them in with other material because that's going to happen later in time than the second building. Now the wall going up, I wanted to give those like battlements as well, but these are more just for the looks, right? You're not going to be able to really hide behind them, but I did want to give the wall a walkway, just because you don't know where people might climb on shore, so it's there, you can walk on top of it, and it's also a way to get into the lighthouse on the second floor, which, you know, as the family that holds this house, I would want to be able to get into my lighthouse without having to go outside in the mud, and it's something else to explore, which I think is the most important part of the Minecraft world. Yeah, painting some paths in the inside of the courtyard and getting ready to build the structure in front here. Which is gonna look basically like a big wall from the outside, but from the inside there's gonna be a little building attached. It's not gonna be any wasted building materials. Making this so that you can actually still see a little bit of the the castle-like shapes in the background really adds to the build, I think. yeah, painting in the paths and fixing up the doors and entryways and stuff really adds to this little courtyard. It's starting to feel like a place that you would want to spend time in, right? Instead of like a little back alley. This is a place that is very well looked after, and that's why there's grass as well instead of mud, and a well-kept path. Now there's also going to be little bunkers dug into the side of basically the hill or the cliff here. This goes underneath the path that leads up to the lighthouse, so it's actually underground. And these can be used to store all kinds of things. It would be quite cold in there if you close the doors properly. So you could keep some food in there, maybe keep some ice after winter for as long as you can keep it. Or even gunpowder, if that's going to be a thing here. I don't think so. I've already started to work on the castle and it's not built with gunpowder in mind, so maybe these will just be food stores and other stuff that needs to be kept safe. And that about wraps it all up, so we're gonna do a little fly around. And it's been long since I've made a video. I have built a lot already, so I hope that now exams are over I have some more time to work on some more time lapses and get back to the current time, to the present time, to show you what I've built, because I'm excited. I hope you are too. If you have any suggestions or questions, do ask them in the comments or join my Discord, because it's always great fun in there. I share pictures of my new builds and you can share pictures of your builds and I'll give some feedback. And there's other amazing builders there as well to help. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this build and I hope you liked the vibe it gave you. And I will see you next time. Bye!